right, good morning everyone, good afternoon everyone. Today is Monday, September 27, 2010. It is now the General Assembly meeting of the Student Senate of Johnson County Community College. I will now call the meeting to order at 12 o'clock noon. But first, I will first have to have the adoptions of last week's minutes.
Motion to adopt last week's minutes.
Second. All right. Motion passes. As well as that, the adoption of this week's minutes. Take a look over the agenda for this week.
Motion to adopt.
Second. All right. We'll now continue on with new business. First up, we will have Gail Callahan, and she will give us information on financial stability with the students. Gail?
Yes, thank you. I'm going to pass around our newly formalized statement of student financial responsibility, which will be coming out. You'll be seeing flyers. It's currently on the website and in the credit class enrollment guide for fall and spring. I say it's newly formalized because we haven't had it in writing, but we have always held students responsible for paying for their tuition and fees via holds and drops and that kind of thing. And about a year ago, in the bursar industry, we saw a trend for schools to formalize these statements and make it more aware for students so it's out there when they enroll. And I wanted to bring this to you first because I know, as senators, students expect you to know what's going on and why we're doing this. So I've passed it around. If you don't have a copy, I can get it for you later or send it to Corey and get out the minutes. It's also, if you go to the bursar webpage, there's a link to the student statement of financial responsibility. But basically it says if you enroll, you are responsible for paying your tuition. You have the option, of course, because we do have a generous 100% refund period, of dropping before that refund period expires and getting your money back or forgiving the fees if you've not yet paid them. You need to take into account financial aid, because if you've applied for financial aid, there's a formula which is mandated by the federal government about what you will have to pay or what you can keep. So that's basically what this covers. Students will be seeing it on flyers, on little ads on the current student webpage, on the TVs probably, and obviously in the enrollment guide. So we hope that everyone has that opportunity to see it 2 or 3 times, and we'll take a look. The last paragraph kind of summarizes everything, but all of the points are important. So if you have any questions or concerns, I'd be happy to address those. Yes, Corey?
If you could explain exactly how this is different from the policy that we're all used to and accustomed to, that would be great.
Okay, well, up until this semester, and even this semester, we have a payment deadline, which is will currently be a week before classes begin. And on that payment deadline, if you haven't made arrangements to pay, either you have financial aid in place, a third-party sponsor in place, or you've made payment or enrolled in the payment plan, if you haven't done any of those things, so basically you haven't paid anything or made arrangements, you are dropped for non-payment. Up until this fall, we continue to drop. So if you came in as a new student and added classes for the first time in the first week of classes and didn't make any payment within a day or two, we would drop you from those classes. Where it got confusing is you might have enrolled in classes before classes started, paid for them, added another class, not paid for it, and we may or may not have dropped you. Probably would not have because you'd made a payment and we didn't know what that payment was supposed to go to. It got very confusing to communicate that to students, whether they were going to get dropped or not. So we've gone to this, and we're no longer dropping after that batch drops. So we will still have a payment deadline. It will be 1 week before classes started. We pushed it back a little bit closer to the start of classes. And after that, or if you got held through that for any reason, you applied for financial aid, even if it doesn't come in, you're responsible. Or after that, if you add a class or you come in as a brand new student, you are responsible for paying for that. We won't be dropping you. You have the option of dropping yourself during the forgiveness period. Does that help, Corey?
Yeah.
Great. Yes?
I have a question, Craig. On the it's talking about the student charges for financial responsibility, including but not limited to. It also mentions health insurance in there. Is that a requirement that students are to maintain current health insurance while a student enrolled at Johnson County, or does this mean that we're responsible for maintaining our own health insurance and it's not a condition of being a student?
It's actually referring to the only students for whom we charge health insurance right now are international students. And they do have a charge on their account for that. So the others would be policies outside of the financial area.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anything else? Yes.
Of course, I'm sure that you know that this is probably a difficult process. Just one aspect of this is that a lot of students come to our school from out of state or from in-state, and they're not necessarily, they're still being claimed by their parents, or they're still dependents of their parents or guardian, but they're not necessarily receiving any financial help from their parents or guardian. How would that affect them or help them in any way whatsoever?
With this policy or procedure, it doesn't really change anything.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the best thing for any student that does not have the money either between themselves or their parents is to apply early for financial aid and see what they can get, and they should always be able to get loans. But you have to apply early in order to have that in place when the payment is due.
Any other questions? Thank you, Gail. I really appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome to come back anytime that you please.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Next item on the agenda are new clubs, and I'll pass it over to Vice President John Kohler.
Yes. Today we have the American Indian Studies Association. Today we have represented President Maggie Davis and Professor Sean Daly. And if you'd like to kind of say what your club's about, you can stand up and talk about it.
Okay. Based on Johnson County Community College's goals of vision and innovation and inclusion, it's only natural that it's a perfect place for a student group that wants to positively affect the surrounding American Indian community. The members of this group share that vision of changing lives through learning and serving our community. And so having representation of the American Indian population on campus would only reiterate that fact. We're very open to discussing new ideas and exchanging knowledge on the variety of issues that affect the American Indian community. Through such interaction with Native community organizations like American Indian Health Research and Education Alliance, and through action with Native people, we would try to address those concerns and hope to give students an opportunity to experience the diversity of the American Indian population and affect it in a positive way. There's a lot of ways we hope to achieve these goals through powwows, implementing new beneficial programs at the college, fundraising for those projects, drawing awareness to Native American Heritage Month in November, and whatever else the group decides to come up with. It is very, it's new, obviously, and so I'm kind of hoping that there's going to be an open exchange of ideas and new projects to be implemented. I just kind of hope that this would be a great outlet for students to make a difference that want to affect change with the American Indians, because there's quite a bit of community going on throughout the area. And we're kind of teaming up with the aforementioned American Indian Health Research and Education Alliance, since they sort of built a rapport with the community, so we can take that and add to it and continue on to make it more beneficial. And yeah, I don't know. Thank you all for your time.
Any questions?
I have one. Sure.
what kinds of changes are you referring to as far as making in the community? Are you referring to the community at large, or are you referring to local Native American community?
Well, more so the local Native American community, but it's kind of spread throughout, the country. I mean, things that affect our local community affect all of the nation's communities throughout Indian country. So it'd be kind of a way to maybe collaborate and get new ideas to maybe other organizations throughout could implement as well. Kind of start local, but
Professor Daly, did you have a comment?
Yeah, please ask your question. I'll make sure I address it fully.
Oh, I was just wondering what types of changes were you guys referring to? You're saying making a change in the community, making changes in there, like how so? Do you have certain ideas or objectives in mind that you're wanting to accomplish by forming this club to get in there?
Well, one of the reasons this club was proposed, and one thing Maggie forgot to add that I'd like to add is it's not a club for Native students, it's a club for all students that just has a Native focus. One of the things we've noticed at this college, and when I say we, I mean myself and those of us who teach Native related courses here, is there's a lot of organizations at the college, be it like service learning, honors, things like that, that work with different communities, be it an ethnic community, socioeconomic community, whatever. There weren't a lot of opportunities to work with the Native community. And we do have a sizable Native community in KC Metro and Lawrence, about 25,000 in KC Metro, and then you throw Lawrence into the mix with Haskell, KU, and so forth. We're talking not a couple hundred, but we're talking thousands of individuals. And a lot of students here at the college were looking for avenues to go out and interact and actually engage the Native community. So part of this club is about using what resources the college has and the connections with urban Indian organizations, reservation-based organizations, Haskell, to allow an outlet for students to actually work with and engage with the Native community.
Right, but it's still not clear as far as how so. Like, what is the goal? What are they trying to accomplish by working with them? Is there a common thing that is an issue that's trying to be solved? Or is it just to raise awareness?
Wow, good question. We, right now, and I say we, I mean those of us at the college working with Natives, we're actually working on probably close to a dozen different community projects with the Native community. It's kind of one of the things here the college no one really talks about a lot, but there are about a dozen projects where students at JCCC are currently working with the Native community. As far as the college angle goes, it's proposed that a track in service learning be offered in American Indian Community Health. There is a new major that's in the works in American Indian Studies. We just established a Center for American Indian Studies on campus here this semester. We're office suite up on the second floor of the Carlson Center. We're working on, the college is establishing a bridge program with several reservations in the area and approximately 7 high schools in the area that have high Indian populations to identify and work with juniors and seniors in high school who are Native to get them into Johnson County Community College, because only about 18% of Native Americans at the national level graduate high school college ready. So there are academic as well as social programs and activities in the mix here.
Okay. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
We'd like to thank you guys. We next have to go through our voting process, so if you guys could step out, and we'll call you back in.
Just for you senators to know, with the voting process now, we forgot that it may be a little bit intimidating if you have cameras on you while you're voting. It may kind of sway your vote. So what we'll do is make that a little bit easier to still be unidentifiable, and we'll keep the cameras on executive board because, quite frankly, we could, care less. And this is not the mafia, and we're trying to protect you as much as we possibly can, so you won't get jumped by some club members outside because you didn't vote for their club. So we'll keep the cameras on us, and you just vote the way that you really want to vote. So I make that point, bring that up.
I did want to ask if anyone had any comments. I know I do, so if anyone has any.
I think it's a great new organization, to contribute to this campus, because I never even thought about it before they brought it up. So I think it'd be a great contribution to Johnson County Community College here.
Thank you.
I agree that the contribution, I think, would benefit the school. I just failed to see how they really have clearly defined objectives as to what they're trying to accomplish with the goal, or with this particular club. And my concern is how much money is that going to take for a club that does not have a clearly defined goal and objective in mind with what they're trying to accomplish.
I can agree with that.
Thank God the cameras are staying on us then.
I did have something to say. I've known Professor Daly for quite some time. He's my professor here, and he's really into what he does. This is kind of like his niche. He has real close ties to the Native American community, and is really involved with getting to, just branching out for a while. I was able to attend a powwow last semester, and Maddie Davis was also there. And she was kind of in charge of coordinating the event, and that went real well. So things along those lines. I think this club would really kind of help branch out from things like that down the avenue, and really kind of just help them get going, because I put a lot of faith in these two people, and I think that they do a real good job at this point.
When you attended this powwow, what was that? What were the deliverables from that?
It was just kind of a get together for Indians alike, and people from outside that kind of come in and just kind of, trying to just do the traditional things that they do at powwows, and just kind of express themselves. I mean, it was a good thing, and it's good for the community college to bring in those type of events for various reasons. So, Maxwell.
I just think it's a good idea because it helps promote cultural diversity, because most people don't really understand about the Native American culture. So if you have a club that people are able, somebody who has an interest in Native American culture, could go to the organization, find resources over there, find people that are knowledgeable in those fields that will help promote the overall diversity of the school. So I think it's a good prospect.
I was just gonna mention, do we have scholarships for American certain percentage, or of being Indian, or because maybe that could help too. The club could help that. I don't know.
Well, the club could start and find scholarships and distribute them out, but they would then have to, I believe, go through the scholarship, correct me if I'm wrong, they would have to go through the scholarship committee to do that, to get it, or the foundation? Foundation. And just another point to add on to what Maxwell was saying, with the diversity of our campus, let's not forget, we have the organizations of Black collegiates, we have Latinos United Now and Always, we have, I think, a Buddhist club, if I'm not mistaken, where that's just to name a few of the many here on campus. And they're not there to push a certain agenda, but they're there to create awareness for their certain diversities, also their certain cultures, to many others who aren't exposed to that here on campus. So I think that it would be another great addition to that already great plethora of diverse campus organizations that we have.
So yeah, without much further ado, we have to get to the voting process. So all those in favor, if you could raise your hand.
Tell them.
And
We need 13 guys.
yeah, so
Quorum is 13.
13.
so all those in favor? Thank you. All those not in favor? Any abstentions? Okay.
That was easy.
Thank you all. If Eric could let in the
Yeah, I think so.
We'd like to congratulate you guys. You voted yes, and you guys are now a student club on campus. If there's any other additional questions you guys have, you can come contact me or Corey, or talk with any of us to get further reasoning, comments, whatnot. So, with that being said, Pam had
And I think we just regularly, we just have clubs and organizations that they have a definite home in the Center for Student Involvement, and to visit with Mindy anytime and check out the resources up there available to them in COM 309.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you. And thank you all very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you, appreciate it.
And if you guys want to stick around, you can. If you want to leave, we understand that you might have prior obligations. So, thank you guys.
Pop open a bottle of champagne.
Right? Free, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, and we did have another new club scheduled, but they did not come because of issues. So we'll take care of that, and I believe we have 2 scheduled for next week. So
Sounds great. All right, we will now move on to, we kind of switched up the agenda in case you haven't seen, but we'll now move on to the treasurer elections. Of course, as we went through elections last week, we'll give 1 minute each to all the candidates. From there on, we'll pass around the ballots. Ballots will then be certified by the vice president and the parliamentarian as they are the chief executors of the election, and then they will be, the results will be given here on the Senate, and we'll have our new treasurer come join the ranks and walk the plank with the rest of us. So, John, I'll let you take over on the elections.
okay, let's go in alphabetical order. So first off, we have Amir. Any final, I guess, like a minute or so?
Sure. I would really like to take up this position as treasurer because I do have past experience working with Matt Ross, and I do have the time that I need to devote to the committee. I'm also a good listener, and I'm open to many new ideas, and I have the patience to listen to anybody in the committee, and I believe that we can all work together and, you know, correctly allocate the budget to the clubs that need the money. This is also my last year here, and I would like to contribute to the Senate as much as possible. And I find being a treasurer would be the perfect way to do that. So, thank you.
Thank you. Next down the list is Maxwell.
Thank you, everybody. The treasurer position deserves somebody with leadership skills. I have that. As vice president of Model UN, I've worked with the organization. I'm able to conduct meetings because the treasurer has to conduct a budget committee meetings, so I have the skills. I'm able to do that. And it also requires somebody with parliamentary procedures skills. I have that. I've done Model UN, so I know all the parliamentary procedures, Robert's Rule Book. Requires somebody who has an understanding of the clubs itself. I've run a club. I know their budgets, so I understand their situation. I understand the empathy. But I also do understand that we have limited funds, so I'm able to balance both of those and be able to disperse the funds in an appropriate and open fashion. So I'll be a good asset if added to the executive. Thank you.
Next, we had a senator come to us outside of last week and plead his case. So Sam Molman, if you have a minute.
Yeah. All right. So, well, this is the first time as a senator, but I feel like I would be great with budgeting with the clubs as well. I mean, I feel that I would do it fairly, as well as putting in the time and effort to get what's done. And I didn't really prepare anything, but that's it. Thank you.
And lastly, Jeremy Walsh.
All right, thank you guys. I just wanted to let everybody know that I know that I would be good for the treasurer position. If we go and we count, let's see, I have taken the student leadership development course here this past spring. I've had plenty of real world experience, if you count the over 5.5 years I served in the Air Force, accounting for munitions, people, coordinating all the activities that go along with such. I have plenty of time to be able to devote to this cause and to the position, and I know that I have the ability to bring together the people that need to be brought together to objectively handle any budgetary needs. Thank you.
Of course, once again, so that there's no pressure on you senators, so you won't get beat up and leave, we'll keep the cameras on ourselves. Same voting process as we do it before. We're kind of getting the hang of it. At this rate, we'll have elections every week. So please mark your ballots and pass them back in, and we'll go on from there.
And feel free to mark abstentions if you need to. Right in the bottom if you guys want to. All right, so who wants to know? Okay. So our new Student Senate treasurer is Amir. Congratulations, and we'd like to thank all of you that ran. You guys are all valuable assets, and we appreciate you guys. Honestly.
That doesn't mean that you all go and resign from Senate just because you get this. You're stuck in here, you can't leave.
So thank you guys.
Okay, now that the hard part's over, next item on the agenda is Campus Activities Board update with parliamentarian. Amir.
Wednesday 29th is going to be blood drive, Rainier Center, room 101 from 8 to 3. And movie of the week is going to be Friday, October 1st, 6 and the City 2, GB 233. Show times are 12 and 7:30. There's also Michael Bolton concert, which is going to be October 20th, 7:30 p.m. Yardley Hall here. And the tickets are available anywhere from $50 to $130 and $5 discount for student.
What movie is it this week?
Sex and the City too.
Sex and the City too. You have to go see a movie. All right, thanks, America. Next, we'll continue on with committee updates from our committee chairs. We'll start with Amir, John, myself, with the absence of the secretary, and then the treasurer will have any announcements for budget committee, should he have any already in his mind. No pressure.
I just want to say thank you for all the senators come to Green Committee. They came up with a great idea to improving our printing policy in campus. And also, if anyone has any idea or comment, just send me an email. It doesn't matter if you're not in Green or Rules and Conducts. Just send me an email and definitely consider your idea. And also, just a quick reminder, Rules and Conduct is going to be right after this meeting, come 3:09.
That's great.
When, or what date is it, or what time?
It's Monday, every other Monday. It's 1 to 2 p.m.
So you have one this Monday, but not next Monday?
I do. Okay. Yeah. It's switching between Queens and Rules and Conduct.
Okay. Is that it?
Yeah.
Thank you. John?
Okay. I have Inner Club. If you guys are still not familiar with that, it's pretty much a grouping of all the clubs and organizations. We try and get at least one representative in from each and just kind of share what's going on in each club, what they do, and whatnot. We actually meet this Wednesday from 4 to 5 p.m. We appreciate anyone that can come. With that being said, we're planning some activities, some events that are going to go forth, and I guess I can go ahead and plug some in. Or actually, Corey might be able to. Corey's not able to. I do have this one. There's going to be a brown bag luncheon. It's going to be held on October 13th, which is a Friday. Sorry, that might be a Wednesday. Got my calendar messed up. I apologize. That is from 12 to 1, and that'll be right outside the cafeteria area. Cat Fed. And Rainier. Okay, Corey's looked that up on me. Okay. But it's pretty much just bring your own lunch, come down, sit sit and eat and kind of get to know clubs. Me and Michael are going to send out, Michael Duop and the Center for Student Involvement are going to send out a mass email to everyone. And if you guys know anyone that head up other clubs or know people from other clubs, please let them know that October 13th on Wednesday that there's going to be this brown bag luncheon. So have them bring lunch and come and meet people.
Yeah.
And that will be, just to re-clarify,
In the cat bed room in Rainier. As soon as you walk into Rainier, it's right across from Cafe Tempo.
okay, and that's a little blast there. Gotcha. But yeah, so that's me.
Okay, well, first of all, I'd like to thank the Senate for giving me the opportunity to be your treasurer. As for the budget committee, I will email anybody who's interested in joining us. And I would like to get your time schedule so that we can arrange a perfect time for everybody to meet. And we'll work everything out, so, thank you.
Thank you. Scholarships, of course, scholarship committee has not met yet, but we have met with the best committee that we do have on Senate, which is service and fundraising, which I'm very proud to be the chair of. We had 3 senators in attendance this week, Teresia, Alicia, and Rebecca. And we now, as a Senate, as a service and fundraising committee, we've come up with 3 service projects for the next 3 months, for October, November, and December. So we're going to be pretty busy. Just to let you know a little bit about those. Each service project will require that it is mandated that you do show up to all 3 to work them and to participate. If not, then of course we'll have to have a little talk, and then I'll put you on camera and you'll have to run out here like the wolves. If so, I'll let the senators who sit on the committee go on and talk about a little bit of what we're going to be planning, and then I'll come back and announce another special segment of that. So we'll start with Rebecca, Teresia, and Alicia.
All right. For October, our service event will be we haven't really come up with a catchy name yet, but we'll have elementary school aged kids from the inner city, probably from the KCK area, to come here and have a safe environment to trick or treat. And it'll be Friday, October 29th. We're thinking about 2 hours. We'll figure out a perfect time, but probably closer to nighttime. And clubs can set up each like a booth or an area, either indoors and have like classrooms, or outside in the courtyard. And the kids can go around, trick or treat. They can give out candy, stickers, whatever. And then probably thinking face painting, have like little arts and crafts, and the kids can draw like little pumpkins, whatever, and maybe a storyteller for them. And then also depending on the weather, indoors or outdoors. So we're really excited.
Can we scare the little kids?
No.
Okay.
We don't want to scare them away.
Unless you're talking about John or Amir, then that's fine. Teresia?
Okay. For the month of November, we're thinking of doing a food drive and a clothing drive. So that would run for the entire month of November, and it would end on November 30th. Well, for the food drive, we're thinking of giving them to the harvesters. And for the clothing drive, we'll work with City Mission for that. So yeah, we will have just big boxes or barrels put around school where, we'll put signs up and everything.
And real quick, if anybody hasn't noticed when you walked in, we already have a stack of cans and I believe a coat being started over here with the process, so it shows how proactive we are with it, which means that's a sign and signal to all of you to go home and get all the food that you don't eat, that is edible, of course, and the things that you don't wear that we can bring in for the homeless and for those in the inner city.
What do we have to do to get that posted up on Angels so that everyone can see, or get on the school's website so they can see as soon as they hit it that we're doing this?
That would be passed over to the secretary, who is absent today, but all we would have to do is just have it on a listserv, which is fairly easy, and then we can also have it posted, of course, to all the clubs and organizations to come in. And I really want to see that small mountain grow into a much bigger molehill. Pam?
Can we talk to an organization, I mean, where is this going?
The food,
Exactly.
The food and the clothing.
the food would go to the harvesters,
Okay, harvesters.
and then the clothes will be to the city mission.
Okay, and have we talked to them
I
about
have
that?
I have a contact at
Okay.
City University
Okay.
who actually lives and works there.
Okay,
And I'm trying to get in contact with him to see what exactly we really need.
right.
And to get a list together.
That's exactly my
And
point.
right now, this main focus would be coats and blankets.
Okay.
And also,
That's my exact point, because at this time of year, a lot of people are doing these sort of clothing drives and food drives, and so it's always helpful if we can be specific about what people want, as opposed to bringing in a lot of things and then it ends up not being what people need, so, okay, thanks.
And
Thank you guys
also-
for your work.
And also with that, with the food as well, if the harvesters don't need the food, then it could go to soup kitchens, which are in dire need of the food, of course, throughout these next 2 months with the holidays coming up. And I do have contacts with soup kitchens that I've already been in place with, and they're ready to take it if the harvesters don't take it as well.
Well, it's just that when you take these things to scale on campus and start letting people in offices and students and staff and faculty all know, it's just really helpful to be able to let people know where their charitable giving is going,
Right.
as opposed to saying we're collecting food. It's sort of like that next step, we're collecting food for who, and that we've got that all arranged, because that's important to people, so, thanks.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Information so everybody knows this is what we're looking for, this is where it's gonna go, anything you can do to help out, this is location to drop off. I think we'd
And I felt it was best, and the committee also felt that it was best if we get a start on it, that we do get a head start on it, so that we can exceed the expectations that we already have for it. Thank you, Pam. Alicia?
Yeah, for December, we are actually going to be going to Children's Mercy South, and we're going to go caroling to all the children. And in addition to that, we're also going to have a toy drive so that when we go, we can give presents to the kids as we're caroling. And then I think that's December 6th, 7th, and 8th. And I think that's all I have on that.
And that would be on our own time as senators, outside the school. And we're also still planning, trying to formulate the plans for,
Toy drive?
no, I'm sorry. Photos with Santa, excuse me. And so Pam, I'll be coming to you, and I'll also send Alicia over to you to formulate how we want to move Photos with Santa this year, knowing how the space that we usually do use it for is a little bit different and cramped. And I know you probably don't want it in your office. So, of course, with that, I really am very proud of the Service and Fundraising Committee. They're doing a great job. For all you other senators who were absent on Friday, we look forward to seeing you this Friday, 2 to 3, Service Fundraising. Another quick note is, a personal note for myself. This last night, I lost one of my best friends from high school in a terrible car accident in Reno. This person was an extraordinary young woman. She was very hardworking, very diligent, very involved in student government, much like ourselves, on a state, school, and national level. And because of that, she really made a difference in the lives of so many people. And the outpour is horrendous all over the country for her at this point in time. ASU is doing something for her because a lot of the students that she went to school with go there. UNR, UNLV, CSN, and with that said, I've asked those on the committee and also asked our advisor if it would be fitting for us to commit ourselves to do once we finalize the plans for the food drive, that we do it in her honor and her memory as well. Because I think that'd be fitting, as these other great schools are doing great things for her in her honor and memory, that we also jump in and do the very same. So if that's all right with all of you, I think that would be great in honor and memory of Hillary LaFoy. Thank you. So with that said, in committee updates, now complete. Are there any other questions for committees?
What'd you say, excuse me, time Friday?
2 to 3.
2 to 3.
In
Okay.
Com 309 in the conference room.
Okay, thank you.
Exec board announcements? Welcome, Amir. Okay. Advisory announcements. You all have not yet met Mindy Kinnaman, but we've talked about her time and time again. She's finally here today, and we'll shine the camera on her so she can talk a little bit about herself.
Hello, my name is Mindy Kinnaman. I recently came from Avila University where I worked in residence life and in student life doing campus-wide programming. And I'm excited to be here, so can't wait to get to know all of you guys, see how this year goes.
Great. Any questions for Mindy?
309.
Com 309. Has a really nice office. You can see inside the windows, right next to the conference room. Feel free to visit her at any time. Okay, at any point in time.
As long as the office is open.
As long as the office is open. And then I'm also going to open it back up to Pam Vassar, in case she may have anything to say or add on to that.
One thing I was going to think about, this last semester, a lot of you would bring your issues or concerns of things that you had found on campus, and then Trent would come in and bring those to me, and I would kind of go out and try and get some closure on some of those issues. And I'm thinking that I would really like for you all to have that opportunity to work with the people on campus that could get to closure on some of the issues. So having said that, I was going to ask Alicia, I think is your name.
Alicia?
Didn't you bring up the issue of some of the phones not working? So, yeah, so if, I mean, if we're okay with doing it this way, I'd like to give you the name of a person to go speak with, and that you would, you know, lead with, I'm a student senator here on campus, and out of our student senate meeting, this issue has come up, and I think it would be really good for you guys to have those interactions on campus with some of the folks that can make a difference with some of those issues. So if that's okay with everyone, and if that's okay with you, if you would, after the meeting, see me, and I'll give you the name of someone you can talk to related to that issue. Okay.
I need a quorum on that. I'm sorry, we can't. I'm just kidding. I think that's great, as a matter of fact, because that puts the school back into their hands.
Well, and the thing that it does is gets you out there, gets Student Senate out there and lets people realize that, you know, Student Senate is actively working on behalf of students and for some good things here on campus. So I kind of like the idea. So. I like my own idea. So if you guys are okay with it, that'd be great.
Okay, we will now move into open forum. Anything for open forum?
I have something.
Oh, the hands go up. I can't tell if Alex was first or Jeremy was first, so
Go ahead, I'll hold on.
what did
Okay,
you?
I was just gonna say, he was talking about having a page on Angel. I don't know if you mentioned this or not, but I was gonna throw out there possibly having a Facebook, one of those fan pages, and just have all the events and everything, all the information posted on there. I think that'd be really helpful.
Which is unfortunate that our secretary's not here today, but we do have a Student Senate Facebook. If you go to facebook.com and look up Johnson County Community College Student Senate, you will find us. We will have our secretary keep up with that as well as the rest of the executive board. But if there is a senator who is on the committee for public relations with the secretary, and the secretary deems it necessary for a senator to also be an administrator along with our advisor, that is perfectly all right with me if it's perfectly all right with everyone else, and with Mindy as well. Okay, but I definitely do encourage for all of you to go and like us and not become a fan anymore on Facebook, and also start posting stuff, giving us great ideas. That would be great. We really appreciate that. And then also suggest it to your friends. Thank you. Did that help?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. Jeremy.
All right, one of the things to add on to what Alicia was saying was a concern that I had about safety along campus. Well, just quick, first before I go any further, I'll ask everybody in the room here, like, raise your hand if you actually have seen or know where to find one of the AED defibrillators on campus.
Also known as?
Automatic external defibrillators.
Also known as?
The heart shocker, the George Clooney paddles.
That's definitely.
Okay. that there's hardly anybody who's actually seen these things. And as well as that, in addition to that, there are phones that are supposedly on the wall that we don't know if they're connected to anything or if they really work and what the procedures are in an emergency. The reason I'm bringing this up was there was an incident that I witnessed this past spring semester where a person had a medical emergency in a classroom. Security was eventually called when somebody figured out which phone worked and was able to call security and get them. And when they finally responded, the medical emergency was over. Now, in this case, nothing bad actually came of that, but in other cases, I think it very well could. One of the things that I'm thinking that would actually help to improve the overall safety with the school is to have clearly marked and identified the automatic external defibrillators, as well as actually having phones not just be some phone that you have to try to remember a number to dial, but an automatic hotline that goes to the security dispatch. And also that they're clearly marked, maybe a plastic piece that sticks out from the top of the ceiling, so that as soon as if there's something that happens, you stick your head out the classroom, look one way or another, you're gonna see where the defibrillator is, and you're gonna see where the emergency phone is. Instead of having people run up and down the halls with all the posters and everything that's stapled to the walls, looking, well, where is it? Is it this way? Is it on this floor? Is it here? I mean, I honestly, personally, I have not seen one of the defibrillators, and I make it a point because of this issue. I made it a point to actually look as I'm walking down the halls, and I still haven't seen one anywhere. So I just think that in the event of an emergency, and maybe this is me speaking from military experience, you don't want to have to sit there and think, well, do I do this? Do I go here? Is it this? Who knows where this is? It should be a simple, stick your head out, yep, okay, you go call, I'm gonna grab this. So I think with a minimal amount of investment to put maybe a red sign with a white cross over where the defibrillators are, and just like the blue emergency phones, a blue thing with a white logo of a phone sticking up there would be a very minimal cost that could actually increase the response time in case there was a medical emergency.
I agree. John? Amir? Amir? Pam?
Yeah. The red phones in the hallways are the emergency phones, and they are automatic. You pick it up and someone from the dispatch area and security responds. So those are the emergency phones, and they are an automatic feed. You don't have to dial anything or anything like that. As far as the defibs, they are on campus. There are a limited number of them. I don't know exactly how many, but they have, they are marked. I know, I've seen them, I know, but I also have worked with the safety emergency people on them, so I kind of know where they are. I don't think they're like every 3 feet, so to stick your head out the door, I don't know that we have that many of them, but I think what you could do maybe is invite security, and I can give you a couple of names, Corey, of people to invite to maybe a future Student Senate meeting that could talk about all the security kinds of issues on campus. And I'm sorry?
Woody?
No, I'd probably bring somebody from like Larry Dixon probably, or Gus Ramirez, or the two of them in. And then Elisa Pacer is our emergency management kind of person, so she would be a good one to come in with them probably, to just do a sort of 10-minute update on things, and then you can make your suggestions and all of that.
We can get that scheduled and see if they're open.
Might be good if you could schedule it, like even for the next Student Senate meeting, because it's, I mean, we're talking about emergency issues, so.
Yeah, that's what I just said. I think it's really good too, and I think that's very proactive of you. I don't think it's just the military side speaking, and you just don't want any dead students.
Right.
Why? I understand.
Not when it could be prevented, or somebody could actually take care of it quickly, make a quick phone call.
Absolutely.
Right. And I know that there are red phones, and I've seen red phones there, but I don't, up until you said, I had no idea what they were for, who it's connected to, if they're tested on a regular basis, or any of that, so.
I think they are tested on a regular basis, but I don't know that they, now that you say it, I don't know that they say, use this in case of an emergency or anything like that, I don't know, so.
The one up on COM 3 level, right near the Com 309 in between the museum, does have a sign next to it. All right, anything else? Wonderful.
I just had a comment. We were mentioning the Facebook page for Student Senate. Also wanted to ask, I'm not completely sure on this, but is there also a JCCC Facebook page for the entire school? And is that what we would announce on, or would we just announce on our Student Senate page, or both? Or?
I've actually talked to Casey Wallace, who, from my understanding, takes care of a lot of the Facebook pages for the college. And she said as long as we are official and that we are active with using our Facebook page, she would then connect us over with the rest of the Johnson County Community College groups. The only problem that we did find with that was once we all leave next year, since we are the creators and the administrators, it would have to be started over again with the next executive board. Yeah. But to answer your question, yes.
So the Senate page is refreshed every year, pretty much?
Yes. Someone said that there are, I think, 2 out there, and we're still trying to figure out how to close down the old one from like 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't we just
That's where all of our fans are going.
Password?
What was that?
So you guys could just set a password for the Student Senate and just give it to the next people.
Well, it's still with the Facebook stuff. It's still with the administrator. We would still be connected onto it because we started the page. So
Okay. I see.
it would, it's just best to let us go in history and get out of here. So if there's not anything else from Open Forum, John Kohler.
I did have one thing to add.
Yes, sir.
We did not go around and get rosters at the beginning. So if everyone could go around and state their name, and then we could have our visitors state their names as well. And we'll start over here.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President.
Samuel Molman. Maximo TJ.
Alex Boyanowski.
Jeremy Walsh.
Rebecca Coffey.
Amir Jalil.
John Kohler.
Corey Parrish.
Amir Bonzadeh.
Alex Brown.
Alicia Nichols.
Chris Robbins.
Hector Ochoa.
Billy Dance.
Teresa Artanta.
Rochelle Hodges.
Eric Membati.
Josh Hall.
Guy Costello.
Pam Vassar.
Mindy Kinnaman. Gina Galindo.
Samuel Chadwick.
Amy Tidness.
And is there any specific reason why you all are here? Hope it's the reason I like to hear.
You had said there were a few Student Senate positions open, so.
Don't say
that I
bullied you into it. Yes, we have prospective, all of you prospective student senators?
Great.
No, yes, I can't see. I have yes over here. Pat?
So it was,
Well, this is your first full meeting. You have, how many more meetings, fellas? 2. So next meeting, you come in, and on the 3rd meeting when you come in, what we will do is that you will state your case, we will hear you out, you will leave the room, we will vote on you, and then that will decide if you get to sit with the rest of these gentlemen and ladies and with us crazy people up here for the next year. Sound great? Well, welcome,
Yes.
Pat.
And with that being said, if you guys have any friends that are kind of interested as well, maybe get contact with them, and maybe we can get a full Senate here soon. So, that's all I have to say.
That would be just about me. So, okay.
I just want to make a quick announcement. I stopped by the honors office, which is in the comm building right down the stairs from the student involvement office, and I spoke with the head of the honors program, and she mentioned to me that I believe on October 4th, there's a campus-wide used book sale going on, and they're in desperate need of volunteers for that. It starts the week of October 4th, and I believe it goes on for a week or 2. I believe they start taking volunteers around 8 o'clock in the morning, maybe even earlier to set up. And when I find out more details on that, we'll have a sign-up page, and I'll try to make that available to anyone who's interested in that. Yeah.
Alex, are you talking about textbooks, or are we talking about reading?
I asked you about that, and I believe it's just like novels, not textbooks. Yeah.
They have tapes. And VHS and DVDs.
Pretty much anything you find at your local library.
7 CCR. That'd be great. Thanks, Alex. Anything else? Okay, we'll now close open forum. I'll take a motion from the board for the adjournment of the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Sayonara, everybody. Great meeting.